Here are tips on how to improve soil fertility. Soil should be naturally fertile, but a number of factors reduces the quality. To maintain fertility in soils, add inorganic fertilizers such as ammonium nitrate, ammonium phosphate and potassium chloride. Chilean sodium nitrate, mined rock phosphate and limestone are examples of inorganic fertilizers. And organic fertilizers like manure, slurry, worm castings, peat moss, seaweed, sewage and guano. Use mushroom compost on land intended for acid-loving plants because it's alkaline. Raise the soil pH by adding lime, especially to heavy and compacted soil, to help break up lumps to form crumbs. Add coarse sand into heavy soil to open it up and improve drainage.
Before the break, we introduced you to the debate going around the world about peak fertilizer. According to some scientists, the world may soon run out of phosphates, a key component required by soils. Welcome to Mazingira Mtaani. As complex as the chemistry of life may be, the conditions for the vigorous growth of plants often boils down to three numbers, say 19, 12, 5. These are the percentages of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium prominently displayed on every package of fertilizer.
Or a farmer, if he wants to get a good crop, he may have to put it in organic. There's no way we are going to run away from it. It's just like maybe somebody is very sick, they go to hospital, they are put in a drip so that the drug can go straight into the veins. But then later on, they are released and they are put on a diet. So for us, especially in curry, we are recommending that we use both. That's why we are calling it integrated soil fertility management. We use both the inorganics and we also use the organics.
According to Keith Shiffard, a soil scientist at the World Agroforestry Center, ICRAF, yields greatly depend on how much phosphates are in the soil. So, as an agricultural nation, should we care whether the world is running out of phosphates or not?
In Kenya, a large majority of the soils, and in fact in sub-Saharan Africa, are deficient naturally in phosphorus, and it's very difficult to amend that by recycling organic materials, and there really is a need for mineral phosphorus inputs from mineral fertilizers. And in fact, in most of the Western countries, they invested heavily over a number of decades in building up phosphorus in the soil through applications of phosphorus fertilizers, and so much so they've got a lot of capital in the soil now they can draw on for many years. In fact, they have a problem of too much, which is a lesson we should learn.
Why should you care? Well, you have 6 feet of sugar phosphate coil inside each cell of your own DNA, and all living things depend on it. Dr. Kibunja says that this could be the reason behind the sudden shift in use of food supplements by many people.
You know, it has been said that we are as good as what we eat, because what we eat is what makes our bodies, and what we eat is what comes from the soil, because all our crops are grown from the soil. So we need phosphorus to provide energy for the cell. That in this nation, there are 2 limiting nutrients to agricultural productivity. One of them is nitrogen, and the other one is phosphorus. Now, both of them are required in protein synthesis. And protein synthesis happens right in the cell. The cell of a human body is actually what makes that person. It is in that is where the genetics of a person is. It is what is passed on from the parent to the child. So for cell growth, for cell division, for cell multiplication, you need that. It is part of the DNA.
The depletion of mined sources of phosphorus places a hard stop on biofuels and on agriculture. Nothing can grow without it. Biofuels, food, or even a fingernail. It's the P in the farmer's armor of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, or simply NPK, that represents the key elements of soil fertilization.
It is important for them to know that soils is a resource base. It is a capital. So they have to really kind of take care of it. So actually they should take an initiative to learn whatever they can.
Another worry is the rapid population increase in Africa. Is food production increasing at the same rate?
With the expected population increase, we know that food production is going to have to increase several times, and that is going to require large amounts of mineral phosphorus, whether we like it or not.
Researchers at ICRAF and Kenya Agricultural Research Institute, KARI, have found that soils in sub-Saharan Africa require large amounts of minerals such as phosphorus. Yet, Kenya has very little of the resource. And even the little available is of very low quality. Currently, there are only 5 countries in the world which have accumulated phosphorus reserves.
90% of the world's reserves actually lie in only a handful of countries. And so, the question is who's going to get the phosphorus first, in a way.
And the cost implication is much higher.
Well, phosphorus fertilizers are very expensive to import and apply, and one of the important things is to target them very carefully. Here at the World Agroforestry Centre, we've developed some new science and technology which we call digital soil mapping, which can help with that, because we can map out at very high resolution now different soil constraints and tell you where you'll get the most benefit from applying fertilizers, phosphorus fertilizers. So certainly investing in these kind of technologies at national level to be able to target those resources very carefully is one priority. I think reducing the costs of getting fertilizers into rural areas is very important by developing good infrastructure. And then I think investment up front to get those phosphorus reserves into the country sooner than later makes sense.